Hello, everybody, and happy holidays. Thank you so much for being here in the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And tonight we have to talk about creative financing, real estate style, and of course, we always talk about strategies to build wealth on a Monday. And again, welcome. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. And please share the videos and smash that like button. Sharing the video is more important because you never know who you're going to be able to help, and you never know who's looking for some particular information. So now I'm going to tell you this is something that has come up on my feed a great deal lately. Real estate, creative financing, and one of them is very, very dangerous, but it keeps coming up where people are saying this sub two. They're saying assign, assist, take over payments, and they want the owner to actually sign over the title, but not the mortgage. This is with homes that are upside down or the seller owes what the amount of the home is worth. So we're going to talk about this. It works both ways. It can be done. It's creative financing, but I prefer a little simpler method. And we'll talk about that shortly. Let's see who's in the house. We have Melanated Aboriginal is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And yes, I know exactly what you mean by that because that's what I believe as well. Hello, everyone. Hello to you as well. And happy holidays, Melanated Aboriginal. Thank you so much for being here on a Monday night. And Victor Marrero is here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And I'm hoping you had a wonderful Christmas and happy holidays as well. And he brings one of two taglines tonight with him, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, all. Let's do this. And he has the icon next to his name, which means he's a member of the channel. That's right. You can be a subscriber. You can be a member. A member, though, is greatly appreciated because they actually help the channel financially and support the channel financially. So thank you again for that as well, Victor Marrero. Greatly appreciated. Maria Barnes is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Thank you so much for being here as well. Hopefully you've had your wonderful Christmas and its happy holidays. We're off to the races, otherwise known as Mrs. Cool is in the house. And she brings her tagline. Hello, Eric and SSN family. How is everyone doing? I got the notification and trailer. Thank you so much for reminding me. And I'm hoping you were doing very well and your family's doing very well. And if you are here, please let me know if you received the YouTube notification and saw the trailer. That would be greatly appreciated. And Laverne Penix is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he has an icon next to his name as well, which you guys already know. That means he's a member of the channel. He hit that $ button in the live chat room. And he's also known as Mr. Cool is here. Thank you so much for that. And his tagline is in tow. Hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's make some money. We have to talk about that. It's Money Making Monday. And he lets me know he got the notification and saw the trailer. So that is greatly appreciated. Let's get into this a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. We have Apex 47 here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream, Apex 47. And he says, hey, boss, hey, how you doing? Happy holidays. Hopefully your Christmas went well. And Laverne Pennick, same with you. And everybody, hopefully you're having a happy holidays and all is going well. You know, and 2023 is almost here. The mantra is in stone. Buy a house. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, but not now. You're going to have to wait about 8 months minimum. After that, then you're on your own. Do your due diligence. Lock in where you want to live right now. See if these prices drop 20, 40, 50% or more. Who knows? There's some people now talking about it could be worse than 2008. Although I'm being a little skeptical now because the Federal Reserve is acting like they may just drop rates just to do it so their buddies don't have to pay 5 or 5.5% to borrow from the Federal Reserve. So we'll find out here shortly in the next 3 months, 4 months. It's going to be very, very interesting. So we're going to see. But thank you so much for being here, Apex 47. Greatly appreciated. So tonight we're talking about creative financing. So let's just get into some creative financing. All right. First things first. It's not so creative, but I like creative. Anything that doesn't have a barrier to entry. So you guys know where I'm going with this, who's been here for a while. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. Where do you get that for real estate? Creative financing. That would be pre-construction real estate. No matter where you are on the planet, you can generally get that deal for pre-construction properties, whether it's villas, homes, or condos. All right. You guys know my favorite spot right now is Dominican Republic, the island, half an island of Dominican Republic and Haiti are together. But that island, Dominican Republic's where you want to be. And if you want to get really into the weeds, then you got to put yourself on the West Coast, or I always flip it, East Coast, where you want to make sure that you are in the Punta Cana area within an hour or less from the airport. That is the ideal spot because that is the highest amount of tourist location that comes into the country. They're going to have over 7 million visitors next year. Half of those visitors are going to be going through the Punta Cana Dominican Republic Airport. And in case you're new here, Dominican Republic has the most amount of tourists in all of Latin America. And guess who's number 2, which I never would have guessed? Cuba, number 2. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. Not Bahamas, not Jamaica, not Brazil. Can you believe that? It's amazing. All right. So that is where I go first because, again, you just put down 10%. You pay over the 2 years or year and a half or 3 years. You make your monthly payment as your down payment. You already have skin in the game. Yes, you're going to have to qualify on the other side with the loan. But if you only have a 40 or 50% or 30% loan to value, your loan acceptance is a lot higher. All right. Now, I'm going to discuss something that I'm very, very familiar with. And it's something that has been popping up in my feed. And I can't believe people are going to do this on both sides of the fence. And I'm going to tell you what I'm referring to. We're in a situation now where real estate is going to be, if you have a loan within the last, let's say 24 months, possibly 18 months to the last 18 months till present. If you got a loan earlier this year, the value of your home probably is 5 to 10% less. So what's going to end up happening is as people get laid off or lose their job, there's going to be a stressful situation where people bought homes and they're going to have to sell. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to owe more than what their value of their house is. So in other words, if somebody bought a house for $480,000, it's probably worth around $430,000, $410,000 right now. Their loan might be $420,000, $460,000, $450,000, $410,000. So you're at a break even, but you just lost your job, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that have lost their jobs who bought homes in the last 18 to 24 months. So now you're desperate. You're sitting there like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I put down this whatever 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever the case may be, and now I'm upside down. So I can't actually finance my way out of it. I can't refi and then get a new clock and take some cash out where I can make monthly payments. I have to sit here and go, who's going to take this house for the amount that it's worth? And even then, it's going to be risky because in the next 30 days before close, 30 to 60 days, the house could drop in value another 3 to 5%. That's what's been happening. So somebody agrees to buy your house for 420 because it's appraised for that. They have a loan. But before closing, you find out it's worth 395,000. The lender says, hey, I'm sorry, you got to put in some more money. That's how it works. So what happens? People knock on your door because they know you're selling it. They can see online that you owe what you're selling it for. So all of a sudden, all these type of deals come along. Somebody's going to go, hey, have you ever thought about a lease option? Now, I am not against lease options at all because the person still has title. The person still has the mortgage, and you have a document that you sign, notarize. Some people record, but again, I don't recommend that. But you have a document that spells out the terms that you're going to pay their mortgage generally. Plus, they usually add on a few $100 more, so it's worth their while. You give them 5, 10, whatever, $15,000, whatever the deal is. So then this way, they're willing to walk away and say, okay, I can deal with this. And because it's a lease option, most people, it's your own. So most people aren't going to tear up the house because the reason for the lease option is that you're going to buy the house later. So therefore, all the upkeep, everything, all the expenses is for the person that's doing the lease option. So I'm not really against that type of scenario because the person coming in has skin in the game. They also are going to buy the house is the objective. So therefore, you still have all your rights. You can kick them out if they don't uphold their end of the bargain according to the agreement. So it's a cut and dry deal, just like a normal contract. But I've been getting this stuff that I keep seeing about this subject to. And this subject to stuff, again, this is what I'm going to say. As a buyer, if you can get that deal, you're going to try and get that deal. But as a seller, creative financing for you as a seller, you should be going, no way in hell. What I'm going to illustrate to you is we'll go back to the same example where I said you bought a house for 480. The house is worth, let's just say 430. You're trying to sell the house because you lost your job. You're sitting there saying, okay, I can't sell it. The realtor has it. He's like, there's no movement on it because the house isn't even worth this anymore. It's about $5,000 to $10,000 less. Nobody's knocking on the door. Somebody shows up and says, hey, subject to. All right, my lawn, me, Londi, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Very nice to see you once again. What's up? What's up with you? And happy holidays. Hopefully you had a very, very good Christmas. Now, let's get back to the systems. Here it goes. A guy shows up and says, hey, you owe like 430, but your house is really worth 425, 411. The realtor's sitting there going, that's right. I'm not going to get paid. So I'm not going to be able to, I'm not motivated for this. So what ends up happening? All of a sudden, the guy says, well, hey, realtor, I'll give you 3% on this, right? So I'll give you your $10,000 or $12,000. How about that? And oh, by the way, owner, you don't have any you don't really have anything here. There's no equity. So how about I give you maybe 5,000 or 10,000? Same thing, right? So the guy says, hell yeah, I'll take that. But here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. I will go from the buyer perspective first since I started it that way. As a buyer, if somebody's going to let me, or a buyer or a realtor is going to take concessions and allow me to basically make the payments and not have to go get a loan and have the owner of the property sign over title. They have a loan. You can't pass the loan off, but you can go and sign off the title. they can go down. I can go down and record it and say, hey, title wise, I have control of this property. He just has the loan in his name. Now, the other thing with this is if all of a sudden the home price goes up, let's say it went up $100,000 for whatever a year and a half from now. Well, I can actually, because I have title, I can actually go get a loan or try to get refied from a hard money lender or get a extra second on the property. The first person, the seller, he might not even know about it. That simple. All right. So I can take out the equity, then I can go do my business, and I did a subject to. But here's the problem overall. If you're a seller, this is why I say sellers, you should not do this. Your loan is still in your name. That's number one. Number two, this has happened if you've been in real estate long enough. When this is in certain locations, states, and because loans are paper and people buy paper, and because lenders sometimes actually, for whatever reason, they go, hey, this guy's been making his payments on time for the last 5 years. Why don't we go review what our title looks like for whatever reason? They see somebody else that you transferred title to that person. That triggers a clause in damn near 99% of all mortgage loan docs. You can't do that. You can't assign title or ownership, so they can actually call the loan immediately. So imagine getting a call and they're like, hey, you assign this to somebody else, but you have a loan. We can't do that. And now we find out that somebody else has a second on this house. We got issues. We're going to call that $430,000 loan. That's what could happen. The odds of it happening is very slim, because as long as somebody's making the payment and everything's fine, generally you won't have a call. Due on clause. All right. You won't have any of this, but you're always going to be in the system if anything ever comes up. That's one of your first problems. Second problem, because the loan is in your name, you go out here trying to get anything. I don't care what it is, a car, another house, an apartment. They go, hey, what's this other thing on your loan, on your credit report? And then the next thing you know, you have to explain to them, oh, I let somebody make payments for me. Okay, somebody might say that, but that's going to trigger show me proof generally, right? So now the other person is going to have to provide who's paying for this, how's it being paid, whatever. And once again, anybody messing and looking around for ownership information and documents and contacting people, that puts you in jeopardy. Because if you're trying to get a loan for an apartment or a house, and somebody's just confirming, hey, is this loan legitimate? What's going on? And whatever happens by simple accident, just verification, all of a sudden they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean somebody else is making payments? This is supposedly his primary residence. We gave him a loan based on primary residence. I've seen it all, ladies and gentlemen, and this has happened. I've been in real estate a long time. This has happened. People get called up and they're like, hey, your loan's due now. This is what you're doing. We didn't authorize, you didn't ask, we didn't approve it, all kind of things. Now, this is a long time ago, but again, I'm assuming they haven't changed much. So this is why I caution you, if you're a seller and somebody walks in there trying to say, hey, I'll just take this over, you're still liable. If they don't pay you, if they walk away, you're liable. And if somebody actually has a second against the house and they put up a lien on the house in second position, you're going to be liable when you try to sit there and say, hey, I'm going to sell the house because I got the house back. I got $200,000 worth of equity. Now all of a sudden that second comes back to haunt you. You didn't do it, but the person you assigned the property to or subject to has it. They do. And now all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I don't, what do you mean? I owe $500,000? That's crazy. So all I'm saying, this is why I have to talk about this, because creative financing real estate strategies, it's coming, because people are going to be bailing out a property and you're going to be getting knocks on the door, all kind of deals. Hey, I'm going to give you 10% down as long as I can take over payments. Or they'll still try to do, I'll give you 10% down, 5% down if you let me take over payments on your property. I swear I'll pay it, but you're going to have to give me the keys and you're going to have to allow me to rent it to somebody else, which is another issue altogether. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, all this stuff you're seeing with these people saying this a sign and all that, I'm going to tell you one thing, because here's things that have happened in the past. The seller of the house gave it to the subject to. The person that took over the house all of a sudden has tenants or other people in the property. What starts happening? Remember, in America, it's all computerized. What starts happening? You have people living in the same address and they're going out there getting credit. See, all this stuff triggers, you're getting credit, and it matches up with another address for another person that shows credit. All of a sudden, somebody starts thinking, well, wait a minute, these names don't match. They don't seem to be family members because of the extensive credit bureaus, because there's information in the credit bureaus. There's 20 of them, more than that. So all that information some of these places have. So they're like, they're not related. What's going on? Next thing you know, that triggers it. So, hey, let's find out what's going on over here. How do we have these people doing this? Mailing addresses, everything starts being like, wait, what's going on? And if you have mail coming back, that doesn't go to you. That's from the mortgage lenders or whoever has the loans. All of a sudden that could trigger like, wait, why did the mail come back? What's happening? All kind of stuff. I've seen it all, and it's happened. I'm saying it doesn't happen that often, but when it does, people are upset. They're mad. But meanwhile, the person that took over this payment, did subject twos or whatever, they can't help you out. You're on your own. And by the way, anything they did, meaning rehabs, anything, you get to keep it. If anything goes down, there could be a lawsuit because you had an agreement. But the fact of the matter is, ultimately, they could just say, hey, call this loan due. And now you have put yourself in a bad position, because if you can't pay it, then you know what comes next. Now your credit's going to be messed up, and that whole deal is going to be wrecked pretty much. All right, Mr. De La Hoya. Good evening, SSN Nation. Mr. De La Cruz, sorry about that. Thank you so much for being here in the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Hopefully your holidays have been going great and you had a wonderful Christmas weekend. And he brings his tagline, good evening, SSN Nation. And once again, good evening, Mr. De La Cruz. And melanated Aboriginal, note due. That's it exactly. That's what could happen. And so messing around with this stuff, you're going to find out rapidly when there's a bad economy. If the economy gets worse, what starts happening? Just think about this. This is common sense. All of a sudden, banks and whoever has the paper tries to start selling the paper to somebody else. So all of a sudden, the lenders start exchanging. So let's just say you have, well, I don't know who you could have. Let's say you have Wells Fargo funding, and that's your loan. And then all of a sudden, they sell it to some company like Ocwen. So now Ocwen says, okay, let's just go through our stuff and find out who owns what and what's going on. And now all of a sudden they see on their county recorder website, what's the second lien on our property? What the heck's going on here? So simple stuff like that, you put yourself at risk, and you're putting yourself at risk for how long? Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? Is it 6 years? That's the question. But anytime in a down economy, things start moving. People start selling their paper. Companies go, I got $100 million worth of loans. Who can I sell this to for 30? because I'm having a default rate of 10 to 15%. I don't think this is going to be good. So if you can give me something up front, this helps us. We're still positive. You take that bad paper. All right. So think about it. Curtis Davis, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he has the icon next to his name, which means he's a member of the channel. And thank you so much for being here. And he brings his tagline, good evening, SSN family. And ABMM, always be making money. That's what we're trying to do here, ladies and gentlemen. And Mr. Financial is otherwise known as Curtis Davis here on the SSN Nation channel. But he has his own channel, which helps people out. Go show some love there, please, ladies and gentlemen. He's part of the SSN Nation. Go subscribe to his channel. Check out his videos. He helps out with financial information, stock market, even a little crypto every now and then. But financial news, it's all there under Chilly Davis, 2LCHILLY Davis. And hopefully you had a wonderful Christmas and a happy holidays to you as well, Mr. Financial. And also Michael Caesar's in the house. The holiday time. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to your name. And he says, oh, it's Monday. I forgot. That's right. It's Monday. And hopefully you had a wonderful Christmas weekend and happy holidays to boot. And thank you so much for being here. All right. Victor Marrero, he says some people are coming up with creative ways to pay down their debt. Subleasing is another big problem. Home renters are renting rooms without owner's permission. There we go. He's bringing up another one of the situations here when we're talking about you are renting a house from a landlord or company, it doesn't matter, and you decide, hey, I'll just put this on Airbnb. No big deal. Actually, Victor Marrero is exactly correct. You are subleasing without permission. Now, all of a sudden, something breaks in the house. This could be 6 months, a year later. The landlord comes over to fix it with the people that's supposed to fix it. Of course, a landlord can walk through his house any time. Well, in certain states, they need, 24, 48 hours. Some people need 2 or 3 days, depending on what state you're in. But the fact of the matter is he could actually come over there and say, hey, I'm coming over when the repairman comes over in 3 days. That generally qualifies on any state. So now he comes over innocently. He's in the house. You're at work. All of a sudden, somebody pops up that he's never seen before, or she. And all of a sudden, they're like, hey, what are you doing here? And he goes, I live here. He's like, what? I didn't rent to you. Who are you? He goes, oh, I rent a room over here. He's like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. No, I didn't approve this. Hold on a second. That triggers, you're going to be evicted or in a lawsuit. Either way, it's going to go down. You're going to be involved in the court situation and you're gone. So thank you for bringing that up, Victor Marrero, because there's a lot of people out here doing that same, hey, I'm going to take over your payment. I'm going to take over your mortgage. Then they go about renting out the rooms. They don't tell the owner anything. And then the owner finds out. And since he's the owner, he gets to evict all of you. He gets to do whatever he wants. Deal's off. So all I'm saying, thank you for bringing that up, because that is a big time thing that's going on right now. All over the country, all over the world. Vanessa Comagate, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to your name. Thank you so much for that. And she brings her happy holiday. Hey, boss and SSN fam, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you as well. Hopefully you had a wonderful Christmas weekend and it's happy holidays. Thank you once again. Otherwise known as Seamless Genius is in the house. The queen of creative financing for not only real estate, but for business and many other ideas. She comes up with this beautiful melanated Aboriginal Chilly Davis on YouTube. Yes, Chilly Davis on YouTube. Thank you, melanated Aboriginal. I appreciate that. And again, I like that name. I like that name because we know, you guys know, this is a little education. Because once again, I have to keep saying this. You guys do realize in America, your books are skewed. They don't tell the real truth. But I won't get into that today. All I'm saying is, this is why I like this Melanated Original, because, like we always say, history, if you can go back far enough, you'll realize there were some people that looks like me that are considered Indians or not, and were actually Aboriginal in the United States of America. They got you fooled, thinking that majority came from the motherland. All right, here we are. Vanessa, hello from Curtis Davis. Curtis Davis, Melanated Aboriginal, welcome back. Okay, he's saying, bought my house in May of 2021 with the good interest rate. I'm going to write it out. Melanated Aboriginal. That's exactly the situation. I got to give you credit on this. Anybody, creative financing, forget about it. Anybody who got that rate at 3%, 2.75, 3.25, 3.75, 4.25, 4.5, if you do not have to sell your house, do not sell your house. You better keep that low rate. Don't let these new home builders fool you when they have these signs out there. Oh, we'll get you a rate of 4.7%. Yeah, it's only for like a year or two. That's it. They're trying to fool you. So you're paying them extra so you can buy down your interest rate for a year or two. And you guys must know your first, I don't even know how long it is, first 10 years, you're generally just paying interest. The bulk of it's interest anyhow. So who cares if I only have 2 years of this 4.7? I'm still going to be paying mostly interest for the 5 to 10 year time frame. After they go from 4.7 to 8.5 for the next 28 years. Makes no sense, right? But people are doing it. All right. Now, Melanated Aboriginal, I love what you're saying, because this is the ideal, ladies and gentlemen. You bought the house at a cheaper price, or you have a cheaper interest rate. Interest rate is the key. If you bought a house that was priced higher, but your interest rate is low, then you're generally going to have to live and deal with that. But you're not going to be like everybody else who bought at 20 to 40% more and paying a higher interest rate. So yes, if you have a low interest rate, you should just hunker down. There's nothing for you to do. Hopefully you don't have to sell, because if you do, if you have to buy in the next 2 years or 3 years, then your interest rate's going to be double, quite frankly. So again, that's one of those other things. If you didn't lock in your interest rate, if you had a variable rate and you didn't lock it in, and if you have a variable rate, your variable interest rate could be 7%, 7.5. You better look right now and say, hey, let me go call up and see if I can get a 6.4, 6.3, 6.2 on a refi or something, so you can lock it in. Because if you have a variable rate, you don't want that. All right. So just keep that in mind. Curtis Davis, hey, Chili D from Vanessa Comagate, showing the love. Bought, yes, I understood, Melanated. Yes, we are the real copper colored Indians. There you go, Melanated Aboriginal. And just for, like I said, there's certain things, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know I've talked about this before. So if you look at any dictionary prior to 1828, if you can find it, you will see American is copper colored Aboriginal. And like I always say, in fact, I won't even say it. Here's what I'm actually going to do, because he brought this up, but this is creative financing real estate strategies tonight. So we're going to get into a little of it. But here's what I want to do, because this is funny as hell. I'm going to do this. Let's do it this way. Let me do it this way. Let me see. I'm going to Google something just so I just want to I just want to show you guys something. I just want to show you something for everybody that doesn't understand the situation. Um, you're going to have to suspend belief, but I'm just going to give you a number that's kind of crazy. Real crazy. Can anybody see this? I just want to ask y'all, do you see this number right here? This is just in one state. You see this? 1770 to 1780. You see this number here? 500,000 slaves. 500,000. And since we can't tell how you can travel from Africa in wind-aided boats, and since we can't tell how long it takes, and then you start extrapolating some numbers and you start going, wait, where's these boats that had 1,000 people on them? 1,000, that's all. How about 500? And then you start realizing, did it take 2 months, 3 months, 4 months each way? So it took half a year, best case scenario, to go back and forth. And then you start doing the numbers. You're like, wait, this is just Mississippi. There was millions in Georgia. There's millions in Alabama, Florida. Wait, hold on. How do we get all these millions on these boats that are freaking 90 feet long, 80 feet long, 100 feet long? Oh, by the way, I didn't want to get into this, Melanated. I didn't want to get into it because, again, I found no boats at the bottom of the ocean, that none of them, zero, that could hold hundreds of people, let alone thousands. So I'm like, I'm sorry. It's not working for me. We had thousands of boats allegedly going back and forth, but I can find all these Blackbeards and all their kind of boats. But where's that big ass one? The one that's moving like 1,000 people at a time, 500 people at a time, 400 people at a time. Okay, Melanated, you got me off into another. This is why the channel's all up, shadow banned. I won't get into it no more. That's it. Enough. All right. I looked into leasing to travel nurses, and I would get a premium rate when my mortgage would get paid twice in 1 month. And I'm not even a mile from a great hospital. You're very correct. Melanated Aboriginal. Exactly. This is a little known thing that a lot of people don't know about. If you're a landlord and you're sitting there thinking, man, I don't really want to get into renting, and I don't think I can get a certain rate. He's right. The traveling nurses get paid, and there is a program that'll pay directly to you every month. It's pretty sweet. So again, I looked into leasing the travel nurses. I would get a premium rate where my mortgage would get paid twice in 1 month, and I'm not even a mile from a great hospital. It's exactly right. Thank you for bringing that up. Again, we're talking about creative financing for real estate, but I'm giving you the buyers and sellers beware. Not so much I'm going to give you any, I'm not backing any sub 2 crap. No, I'm not doing none of that. And I'm not getting you guys into a situation where you're going to go, oh, I know, I'll go down here and get a hard money lender after I do a sub 2. So let me get back to this real quick. Here we go. It's not true. They lied. We are not from Africa. There you go, Melanated. That's my perspective as well, because numbers don't lie. There was never any boats. Exactly. Because you can't even find one. So, but remember the one story where the guy goes, I love this story. This cracks me up. The guy says he went and got slaves. And he had a boat that could go on a little river up there in Alabama, right? And he let off the slaves. And because it was illegal, he sank his boat in the river. Now, I'm like, it's the same boat you brought the people on. So why are you sinking the boat when there's no slaves on the boat? I'm like, this makes no sense. They're off the boat. I didn't get caught with the drugs. So why am I sinking the boat? This is like a drug dealer who brings drugs, drops it off on the islands, and says, oh, It's illegal. I dropped off all the cargo, but I think I'm going to go sink the boat over here because it's illegal. What kind of nonsense does this make? Please stop it. Okay, stop it. Nobody does this. Come on. Makes zero sense unless you, well, let's just say what it is. There's ignorance galore. But I'm just saying, this doesn't make the story is ridiculous. And I'm going to say one other thing. Yes, there probably were some slaves from Africa. But all I have to say is some other things then. I'm kind of like language and cultures. How do you erase or change it? Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Got to have a book. Got to have stories. I heard subject 2 can be tricky. Yes, Vanessa Comagate. Subject 2 is not really tricky. Well, I'll put it this way. From a buyer standpoint, it's not really tricky because it's the seller. You have to convince the seller that to give up his house and and keep the loan and let you have title to it and allows you to do whatever you want. That I with the promise that you're going to pay me the value. So if the house I owe 500,000 and a guy comes and sees me and says, "Hey, I want to do a subject 2." Now me myself, I'm going, that's cute, never ever. But other people would say I'm desperate. I don't want to have a foreclosure on my record. So they're thinking, "Oh man, this guy's saving me. He's going to take over the loan and he's going to take title. He's going to make the mortgage payments. And I don't really know what he's going to do with the property, but he has it carte blanche now, so he can rehab it, he can tear it down, whatever. But I still hold the mortgage. Is the key thing here. So you're relinquishing your right to the house in essence, and hope somebody's going to pay your mortgage and uphold their end of their deal. Now, there's a person that kept coming up on my thing, and it irritates me because he was apparently on some TV show. And so he has a different advantage than most people do. So he can actually get loans, hard money loans that are off the books because of who he is. So he can go out here and say, "Hey, can I get 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 hard money?" And he can get that, do rehab, fix the place up, add rooms, do whatever the hell he wants. But an ordinary citizen, you try this and you don't have the hard money lenders or the ones that you should be going to that's not going to trigger something through the other the person in first position. I mean, it's a high risk maneuver in my opinion. It's only high risk if a payment is missed or something like that. Generally, as long as payments are made on time, mortgage companies don't sweat you. But when they find out that there's a second or a third on a property, all of a sudden they're like, "Wait, nobody contacted us. What's going on?" Because they want to protect their position. They want to know if that house forecloses, all of a sudden there's an extra $100,000, $200,000 on top of it. They're going to be like, "Hold on a second. We wanted this thing back." So there's a whole bunch of things that happens. Exactly, melanated Aboriginal. I already knew as soon as I saw the name. I know what you know. We can't be from Africa and America. That's a misnomer. Exactly. You got that right. Okay, I'm done. Exactly. But can't the owner still sell the house? See, there you go, Vanessa Comagate. There you go. Exactly. Here's what's going to end up happening. The owner can't sell the house. He could try. See, that's where the problem comes in here. You're signing an agreement where you're actually mortgage is one thing, the title is another. They're two separate things. A person can hold the mortgage, another person can hold title. So you're assigning subject to usually involves that the seller transfers title to the subject to person. Let's call it me, Eric Bird. Now, the seller could sit there and say, hey, I'm going to try and sell it, but you have an agreement. So he can't sell it. Never can he sell it. But what that's going to trigger is you're going to put yourself in jeopardy, because now the mortgage company, because you need a payoff. You need a payoff from the mortgage company. Now all of a sudden your mortgage company is going to get a little more involved. And the next thing you know, they find out you have this other deal, and they're going to be like, oh, we're calling this right now. You're out there on your own. And then you're going to have a lawsuit with the other person because they actually own the title of the home and you only own the mortgage. Now you're screwed. Now you're telling him, hey, man, you need to pay this loan now, because you're both going to lose if that happens. So all I'm saying is it gets kind of crazy. Grant Cardone. Exactly. But it's not Grant Cardone, because even he doesn't talk about, I don't really check out his channel, but I don't think he's the one talking about subject twos. Most real estate professionals would not be talking about subject twos as a go-to thing. They would rather tell people to buy the home correctly. Don't mess around with this, because only certain people that could get themselves out of it. What I mean by that is, if you're famous, if you're rich, and you have $500,000 that you can grab anywhere, then you're not going to worry about if there was a call due now or any other problems. You'll just say, hey, can I get this $500 to pay for this house? That's why it's not for most, I'd say 99% of people, you should not do this. If you're a buyer or seller, you should not do this. All right. And furthermore, why do it when you're going to be paying for the loan that is higher than what the house is worth? It makes no sense. If you're just buying it, trying to do a subject to and saying, hey, I like this cool house, and it's the $500,000 house, and now it's down to let's call it $440. The guy owes $440. Why would you take over his loan anyhow? Because the house is dropping in value. So you're just going to pay his note that he's paying for an overpriced house in the first place. Makes no sense. Even though he could have a 3.5% interest rate. But again, you don't get to win, because in a month or two, your house that you bought it for, the amount that is due, the house is going to be worth 20, 30, 40,000 less 2 months later. So you're in the same boat as the seller. So it makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense. In fact, if the equity goes up on the house, okay. No. See, that's the thing. If the equity goes up on the house, the person that you gave the title to, he gets to keep that equity. He gets to, in fact, he could extract the equity if he gets a hard money lender. Or he could refi it. He could refi it, and then he gets to keep the equity. That's the reason why a person loves the subject to as a buyer. That's one of the things why the creative financing guys who deal with this, that's one of their things. They get to, if the price increases. So this is why between 2012 and up till 2022, subject twos worked fine, because when you took over the payment, the home went up. And usually you'll have a 1 or 2 year, or maybe even a 3 or 5 year deal for subject to. It all depends. You can have whatever you want. And so if a house goes up 40%, 30%, and you bought it for $300,000, now there's $100,000, $120,000 worth of equity. And the buyer of the subject to, he could sit there and say, okay, I want to take out 50%. Who's going to let me get 50% of that equity out? Go to hard money guys or refinance it all together. But the object of the game is not to refinance it all together. You're trying to keep your name off the books. The seller's like, hurry up and buy this thing, so it's out of my name. So if the equity goes up, it works great. That's the whole reason why subject twos work great until the home prices go down. Everything works fine when things are going up, but when it goes down, you got an issue. All right. So just keep that in mind. And that's one of my things. Do not do those as a seller or buyer when the home buying market is going down. You're putting yourself at risk. And you'll never know about it from these YouTube people. All right. They're not going to tell you about the challenges that come up because they're selling courses. They're giving you other stuff. It's rarely free information they're giving you. But you're also one of the guys I saw, because he has a following, he's telling people, hey, I have this subject too. Who will give me $50,000 to do rehab, and I'll give you part of the profits on the other side, or give you some of it, or give you whatever, your money back, whatever, because he's going to get a second on the loan or refi or whatever. So he can do that. But an individual, you don't have a group of people. You don't have a lender or lenders that you can just call up and say, hey, man, equity's like 100,000. Can you give me 50? And I can pay off whoever I borrowed 10, 15, 20, 30,000 from and keep it moving. Most people don't have that luxury. So that's why I would not recommend doing this under any freaking circumstance. It's creative financing. Yes. It can be done. Yes. Should it be done? That's the question. I would rather, if anybody's going to go these routes, I'd rather you say, hey, let me have a lease option, lock it in that way, and then just say, hey, the home is worth $440,000 right now. I'll if you let me do a lease option for 4 years, 5 years, whatever, 2 years, it doesn't matter. But if you're going to do something like that, then you might want a 4 or 5 year deal, because in the next 3 years, well, 2 years, prices will probably go down. Then Federal Reserve at sometime next year, at the end of next year, they're going to start reducing interest rates again. So you're going to have another year where home prices will start climbing back up, but it's going to be a year after that. So you would want 3 years if you're going to do a lease option. That's creative. You can tell the person, I know you don't, it's not worth anything, but you sign agreements, but the seller feels good because you're all the bills are paid by the person that does the lease option. So water, sewer, garbage, of course, all the electricities, everything is paid. You don't have any obligations. So basically, you're just letting the person pay your bills, live in the place. They can do rehabs. You might have restrictions on what they can do, but for all intents and purposes, their idea is to buy the house 3 years later, let's say, 4 years later, 5 years later, whatever somebody can get away with. And then you can win. We go back to what Vanessa Comegate was talking about when she said the equity goes up. So in this scenario, we bought a house for $450, or let's just say we told them we'll give you an extra $40,000 because you let me buy it 3 or 4 years from now. And then the house goes up to $700. So now you only owe $450. So then you go get a loan for $450. You have the $300,000 equity. It's a win-win. But the subject to stuff, I'm like, I've been in real estate where that stuff, people have caught themselves in lawsuits, all kind of bad news when the economy went down. That's generally when it rears its ugly head. I agree. You need the cash, litigation money to close the deal. Exactly. Eric, I appreciate the conversation about the legal contract between mortgage title ownership. Thank you so much, Curtis Davis. Essentially, you're trying to attach self to growing asset or get cash flow equity increase. Exactly. So generally, the subject to it worked good for the person that can get it, because I control the house on your loan, and then I get to go turn around and charge somebody rent and get paid more than what your loan is for. So I win as a buyer because I get the extra $1,000, $2,000 per month from your loan, from the renter. So you could have a mortgage because you only have a 3% loan of $1,200. I'm charging $3,300, $2,700, or I turn it into an Airbnb. And now I'm making, who knows, $3,000, $4,000 per month. And I fixed it up, of course, and did whatever I had to do. So I'm making hand over fist while you are happy as well because you're like, I don't have to pay the mortgage. But at the same time, if anything ever comes up over the time that this deal or this arrangement is in order, now we're going to have issues to deal with. Facts, stock going up, margins, fantastic. Yep, exactly. There we go. Some buyers doing subject to or putting the homes on Airbnb. Exactly. Exactly. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. And it makes perfectly good sense. But here's what happens when you put yourself in that scenario. What happens when one day Airbnb wakes up or the city, county, or state wakes up and says, we're not going to allow Airbnbs in the residential neighborhood? Because that is going on these days. Not in a mass effort, but there's a lot of city, county, and states that's changing the way Airbnb can operate. So now all of a sudden, people can't pay. So just think about it. We're 56 minutes in. Please smash the like button. If you like what we're talking about, please subscribe to the channel. Click the all notification bell. I'd greatly appreciate it. Facts. Stocks going down, margin due immediately. That is very, very true. This is why I say the stock market is going to be very, very interesting. What we're seeing right now is weird, because ultimately what we may have saw last week was where it's the end of the year. All the not all, but a lot of the ETFs, a lot of the banks, a lot of these mutual funds, they have to rebalance their portfolio. So they're selling. They were selling off the losers. And the losers who were losers lost even more ground. So that's what happened last week. And now we're only, we have 4 days this week. So now another 4 days. So now people are buying stocks before the end of the year because we're going to have our L's. So then now we can go back in and buy, right? And now we're going to have a little uptick potentially for the next 3 or 4 days. That's as plain and simple as it can be. So it's very, very interesting what's going to happen. But Curtis Davis is referring to stocks going down, margin due immediately. Same thing as real estate. Soon as home prices start coming down, all of a sudden, depending on your loan, things change. In the stock world, all of a sudden you had a 50%, well, they won't let you go that much, 30%. They said, hey, can I have $300,000 and here's $1 million of asset? All of a sudden that asset goes down 30%, and they're going, oh, wait a minute now. We need some more money because your asset's worth 700,000. We loaned you 300. We didn't loan you damn near 50%. What is that number? Actually, 40%. We didn't loan you like 40% margin. We gave you 30%. So you got to kick in 10% more or 20% more to make sure we're still balanced. So that's what he's referring to when he's talking about the margin call is immediate. And that's where a lot of people have been getting margin called this year. That's why stocks continue to go down. Strategies to build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. Creative financing real estate. You got it here. We've talked about in college. The professors teach about perfect business cases. But in reality, there's going to be gotcha or peculiar stuff happens, oddities, exactly. And since we're into this 1 hour long, it's time to break out the SSN lifestyle that we're going to talk about later on. There's some new things that have come up that I'm going to be doing with SSN Lifestyle. If you're not a member, I'm going to start promoting it after the end of the year, and we're going to be promoting it every week on the SSN Lifestyle channel, and I'll be talking about it here a lot more because it's time to do some stuff there. Now, let's do this. In case you don't know and you're new here, please share the videos, smash the subscribe button if you like what we're talking about. And I'm going to play a long Napa Valley SSN Lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen, commercial. Victor Marrero, he goes, exactly right. It's the responsibility of the title and escrow company to check all titles are in order. The problem is when folks start operating outside these companies, no bank will disperse money without that check. Exactly. Exactly. He's exactly right. Because this is what happens generally. And just what he says, all of a sudden you find out during the title and escrow, they're like, wait, what do you mean there's a second? What do you mean there's a lien on this property? What? They're like, for the first person, there's no problem. But the person that's actually trying to finance, all of a sudden they're like, you owe the first, you owe the second. Somebody has a lien because you fixed this up and you didn't pay them. Next thing you know, it causes all kind of havoc. And he's exactly right. It's going to have to be the title has to be cleared, which now means the title might not get cleared. So you put yourself in a bad position, in my opinion. So that's what it is. Liens, debts, contracts, and special situations to capture an asset or property. All right, you're right. That's what Las Vegas does. I was buying a home in Vegas, and you have to go before a board to see if they will approve you. It's a lot of red tape. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. See, they started doing this depending on if you're in HOAs. They started doing all this stuff. And it's starting to get crazy. This is why a lot of Airbnb people have lost money and they had to sell these properties, or they foreclosed and they haven't been getting any rentals. That's the other thing. There's people saying, hey, they changed the algorithm. I'm only getting 3 rents. I used to get 80% rental rates. Now it's down to 20. Now it's down to 10. There's a lot of things going on with the Airbnb situations. And mine have went down as well. But again, I'm on a different platform or plane than these other people. I didn't recommend, you guys know we talked about Airbnb here. This is creative financing as well, where people were going in trying to do, I'll take over, or can I sign this to me? I'm going to rent it out on Airbnb, trying to make these deals. Hey, I'll give you this much amount of money. I'm going to rent on Airbnb as long as you give me the key, and I'll buy the place as well later. People did it. Then all of a sudden, nobody's renting. Next thing you know, they can't pay the landlord. That's a problem. It's crazy out here. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Eric, have you looked at irrevocable trust? Yes. Each state treats it different. Nevada versus, yes, it does. Irrevocable trust. Okay, I won't get into that tonight, but here's the situation. One of the situations, depending on what you're doing with it, if you're talking about putting real estate or something like that into it, I would just say, if I'm a renter, if I'm an owner and I'm renting it out, I'm not a fan, quite frankly, of putting property into an irrevocable trust, because you might be sued. That's why. That opens up a can of worms, in my opinion. But yeah, each state is different. Not every state or even country works the same. A lot of red tape for Airbnb in Vegas. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's why there's limited of them. I bought 2 homes in Las Vegas. I never went before a board. That's because he's probably in a. It depends on if he's in. I don't know what city he's in. He could be in Henderson or Vegas, or he could have an HOA. Or let me see. We have Clark County. He could be in the next county over, where there's requirements. It all depends. Or if you're in a different city, like let's just say we have Summerlin, right? We have Henderson. We have Las Vegas. In each of those designated areas, they could actually change and make Airbnb rules. So maybe he lives in a section that does that. But not everybody does the rules either. I mean, HOAs, it's a moving target. That's the thing. But Laverne Penix lives in zones that no requirement for Airbnb. So it all depends if Laverne Penix, if you're doing Airbnb, if it's allowed in your area, city. If you're in Vegas proper, then that's one thing. So it's probably allowed. I don't know. If you have an HOA, now the HOA may not allow it. So, or the HOA may do what Melanated is saying. Hey, you got to come before us. Let us know that you're doing it. we don't want to be surprised, and we got to come in. In fact, I saw something in Vegas. I saw a guy in Vegas. He did say he had to go and get approval, but I think the approval was, I think you have to have a license or something like this. He said he had to get approval. He said he actually had to have somebody from Vegas come to his properties and get approval for the way it's set up. So apparently there is some Airbnb rules in Las Vegas area. I just don't know what city it was in. So that's one of those things to put on Airbnb. Yeah, that's I know what you mean. I don't know if Laverne Penix, Mr. Cool, was referring to his properties are on Airbnb, but yes, in fact, why don't we go look this up, because I specifically saw where this guy had to get approval, and he had to have a walkthrough by the city or some agency to allow it. So laws, here we go. There's something. I'm telling you now. Here it is. Here's something about Las Vegas. They have a 660-foot. Where's this thing? Here it is. It says short-term rental licenses. City of Las Vegas. So this is in the city. So as of 2018, apparently you needed licensing and applications, zoning restrictions. In fact, this isn't on the screen, right? Let me see. I don't have this up. Let me pull this up. Check this out. Here you go. Check this out. Zoning restrictions include a 660-foot density limit between short-term rentals for all single-family and multifamily homes. For example, short-term rentals may only be used for dwelling, lodging, or overnight accommodations. Other commercial events that are typically held at banquet facilities, such as weddings, parties, and receptions, are prohibited. Yeah, this guy that had it, he was talking about this. He said that was what they were worried about because their house held so many people. It was like 10 people or something like that. So he had to change the backyard so they couldn't actually have parties. You have 10 or 12 or 15 people at a house, you're going to throw a party. So they actually had to have it like a hotel room sign and showing the rules, where they said they had to have quiet time, something like 10 p.m. to 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. It's a thing. I just don't know if he's in the city. I don't know exactly where he was in Las Vegas. But again, he had to get approval about a lot of things. And he has it written down on the back of the door at the house and letting people know that you can't have parties, quiet time because of the neighborhood, all kind of stuff. So that may have something to do with it. I don't know. Here we go, North Las Vegas. Again, I don't know what Vegas does. Because again, you guys know I'm in Vegas. And this is, again, you guys know I give you guys the best information that I can give you. Because speaking of creative financing and real estate, remember a couple of years back when I was talking about Airbnb and I was telling you guys, I said, to me, it made sense. Why would I have an Airbnb in residential neighborhoods or something like that? To me, an Airbnb should be a condo hotel because that eliminates everything for you. You don't have to worry about check-in. You don't have to worry about when they check in because they can only check in when the front desk or the check-in personnel says, hey, it's 4 p.m. so you can check in. Check out late, security comes up. I don't have to call. They're calling because their housekeeping is there going, hey, click, click, click. Housekeeping. Are you here? And you say, yes, I'm here. And it's 12 o'clock. They're like, hey, you need to go. And then they call the front desk to call them. And they call the person staying in the room saying, you know, it's 12 o'clock and checkout was at 11 a.m. How soon can you get out? And if you don't stay in the next 15 minutes, okay, we're going to send security up there. You as the owner don't have no worries. You don't have to worry about none of that. You don't even get a phone call about it. It's beautiful. And the person has a card on file, their credit card, just like a hotel. You mess up the hotel, credit cards on file, you're all traceable, trackable, and have an IOU. Don't have to worry about that as the owner as well. So a lot of people thought it was unconventional. But I looked at it as, hey, I never have to worry about housekeeping. I don't have to worry about nothing. All I got to do is make sure that their name is on the front desk where they can check in. After that, it's have a nice time. It makes it simple. Now, when you start doing your own Airbnbs, which we're talking about in Dominican Republic, now you have to go a different route, but it's already approved for Airbnbs. So you can have electronic keypads. You can have keys, which actually places I stayed at in the Dominican Republic, they had like lock boxes and things like that for it. So the person didn't even have to be there. They just called and said, hey, is everything all right? Worked out fine. But you don't have the added security that I like. Not have, if somebody's going to not leave or do anything like that. So it makes it cool. Melanated to put on Airbnb. Clearly, Vegas has some rules. I don't know the extent of it. Yeah, they are getting strict with Airbnb. Exactly. Because it's not, residential neighborhoods aren't in a commercial zone. I was in Sky Canyon and Henderson, Nevada. There we go. So it all depends on where you're at. I don't know if Henderson, they're still in Clark County, but it's a different city, so they could have different rules than Las Vegas has. So it's pretty interesting. Melanated. Oh, I got you. That makes sense. Even with banks and the type of loan can be tricky, i.e. investment versus second home. Oh, Victor Marrero, thank you so much for bringing that up. In fact, that he just hit on the other factor when it comes to when you are a seller and you allow somebody to do subject twos. Remember when you got your loan, it was a primary loan. You didn't get a loan based on this was a secondary property or a rental property. So now your loan is under certain rules like primary residence. So now you allow somebody to do subject twos, you just now are telling them this is not your primary home. And again, you go to another place, and the next thing you know, you're sitting there going, hey, I need a place, I need a house. I want to buy a house. You're going to get flagged. Like I told you at the beginning, you're going to be flagged because they're going to go, hey, what's this loan over here? And if they really start checking into this and they contact these guys and they find out, they're like, what do you mean he's trying to get a loan? What are you talking about? He's got it. Now, all of a sudden, primary residence, it's not that 3% interest rate. It won't be any longer. They may call it due, or they might just call you up and say, hey, we got an issue here. We're going to have to do something here because you don't have a primary residence. We gave you a primary residence loan. Victor Marrero brought this up. Investment versus second home. This is exactly the type of thing. Type of loan can be tricky. Exactly right. Because your second home that you're out there trying to buy, they're going to say, no, that's a second home, vacation home, investment home, and you're going to have to live with it. So all I'm saying, it's crazy out here. You do, and pay them as well every year to the state. Yep, that's correct. Like I told you guys before, the Whistler, Canada, years ago, and I used to make a killing at Whistler, Canada, because I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo Christmas week. Maintenance fees, $950. I could charge $3,500 to $4,000 every year. Oh, and I had more than one. I had two, actually. They had to actually sell the condo because you couldn't do short-term rentals anymore. Even timeshare, but they were using a condo. It was actually in a condo project. Had to sell it. They sold it for $935,000. All of us shared in the proceeds. It was all divided by the owners. So it was cool. But all I'm saying is that's one of the things. Oh, man. And he said, melanated Aboriginal, yes, and walkthrough. Yeah, so they are doing the walkthrough. That's what this one guy, he said. They walked through, they checked it out, made sure everything was good. It was crazy. Just curious, are there any short-term rental properties in Las Vegas like there are in Orlando? Yes. I mean, the entire community zone for sure. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Because again, I don't recommend trying to deal with cities and states because I have had friends like in Petaluma, California. All of a sudden, people got knocks on the door saying, "Hey, you got to come down to the city hall. You got to apply. You got to have a license. You got to be regulated. You can only do so many days a year. All this stuff. We want some money if you want to do short-term rentals in Petaluma, California." It's crazy. Well, it's not really crazy because I look at it this way. If I actually lived in a home in a residential neighborhood and half of my block has people with suitcases and parties going on and doing all kind of crazy stuff uh, all the time during the week, I might get a little like, wait, hold on. I live in a residential neighborhood. This isn't like a hotel, but it feels like one. That might get a little unnerving. Yes, it's a thing. The hotels out in Vegas has been complaining about the competition with Airbnb. Exactly. That's another thing. That's exactly the thing. And that's why in Whistler that went down. Because all the West Ends and all that, where I also owned that, which was a bummer. I owned at the West End. Jesus Christ. I had a 2-bedroom at the West End that there's only 2 of them in the whole building. And there are lock-offs. So I can change. I was being able to do a studio and a 1-bedroom, and it's ski in and ski out. It's like beautiful. And they're like, no, you can't do these anymore. Had to sell that one too. Crazy stuff. Irritating. Killers. They were killers. Because in Whistler, you can charge $500, $600, $700 a night. It's crazy. Yeah, I was concerned to buy a condo at the Palms for Airbnb. Yes, melanated original. That's what you do right there. You do condo hotels, Cosmopolitan, Vadera, Mandarin, if it's still called Mandarin, I don't know. But yeah, the Palm Suites, right. Those are the places that I always recommend because they're already zoned for commercial. So you don't have nothing to worry about. And they check in at the front desk and you're getting paid. That's what I like about it. Ah, there we go. Washoe County permit. Washoe County is Reno. So that's Northern Nevada, but I'm pretty sure that's it. AB 636. There you go. Eric, misunderstood this question. You would probably need to go before a board if you were going to Airbnb your home. Ah, yes, that's what I was thinking that you were talking about. I figured you were talking about the difference. I know you were talking about you own 2 homes and never had to go before a board. But right, if we're doing Airbnb, apparently in Vegas, they're coming to check on your property. This is crazy. This is actually, like I say, it's a catch-22. I always, you guys know, you guys were here. You guys were here in the last 3 years. It's on the channel, Airbnb. And I would say do the condo hotel platform because you're already zoned. You don't never have to worry about it. Unless, like Whistler goes, no Airbnb, period. I mean, all right, but pretty much that's how you do it, right? So again, I was getting ready to play the 3-minute, but we got into a good conversation. 1 hour, 19 minutes. Smash the like button, please. And if you like what we're talking about, please subscribe to the channel. I love the hands off. Eric talking about working Airbnb through hotel. Exactly. Now, I got to tell you guys something. There's somebody, this place is wild. So you guys know, well, you don't know, but the channel is watched by several people. And when I talked about the Airbnb and doing timeshares, doing the Airbnbs, there's a guy that's on Grant Cardone, since we already mentioned the guy, that came on his channel or channels and talked about he sells a book, a program. He says he made millions of dollars. And then he proceeds to sell you a course. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But the fact of the matter is, he was telling people to do what Victor Marrero was talking about. Go in, do a lease and sublease. Or go in, talk to the owners and say, hey, I know you want $1,100 a month for rent, but how about I give you maybe $1,400 per month and I'll do an Airbnb for you. He makes the agreement. The person agrees. But again, you put yourself out there saying, hey, hold on. If you don't reach that goal of whatever number you're supposed to give him, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these type of properties, you're going to be at risk. That's why he's selling the course, because you're going to be at high risk. The course is easier to sell, and his course isn't like, I guess, $100 neither, which is fascinating. So when I dropped the video about the timeshares, people started asking him questions. They said, hey, man, this guy says I can do Airbnbs. And apparently, he actually made a video because it popped up on my feed. And at first, his first time he talked about it, he goes, oh, no, you can't do that. So then he made another video and said, oh, by the way, anybody that asked me about the timeshares, yes, you can actually do timeshares on Airbnb. Funny as hell. I'm just saying, you guys have no clue what's going on in these YouTube streets sometimes. It's funny as hell. Curtis Davis, me too, is smart. My daughter was telling me to buy a condo with the Palms. Yes, melanated Aboriginal. Exactly. It could be anywhere. You can do City Center. Well, City Center, I don't know how much they cost now, but they're going to be cheap coming up, right? In fact, there's a lot of condos that you can do Airbnbs. The ones over by, I can't remember the name of them. The ones over by the Hilton, which I don't know what it's called now, Las Vegas Hilton. In fact, I need to go to Vegas. I haven't been over there in like a couple years. I need to go over there and refresh my memory. So kind of funny. All right. This online Wi-Fi lock pads work great. You give client unique code for Airbnb rental. Exactly. That's what's going to be going down in Dominican Republic a lot. Melanated Aboriginal, interesting. The Palms appear to be condo hotels. That's correct. Those are so risky. In Orlando, there are a bunch of condo hotels. They charge over 50% of your gross. No major bank will touch. Wow. That is interesting. Oh, I see what he's saying. Right, because you don't have the freedom. You have to be in the condo hotel platform, like at the Cosmopolitan. Right. They charge over 50% of your gross. No major bank will touch it. That's interesting. So people don't live in the condo? So Victor Marrero, let me know why the bank won't touch them. Or is the banks over there going, hey, we've had enough of this. The people aren't pulling the revenue to pay their notes, and we're having a default rate, because that could actually be a thing too. Because it all depends on they have condo hotels in Orlando. That's interesting. Very interesting. I didn't know that. The last time I checked, it wasn't half of the proceeds. It was actually good money. It should have, in Cosmopolitan, at one time, it was only 20, it was actually 25%. Reasonable was Cosmopolitan's. So, and Cosmopolitan used to only be like $99 a night, $129 a night for their nice little suites. I shouldn't say suite, but it's just a hotel room, but nice. So those are the things, ladies and gentlemen, that happens. But things are changing. So the bill in Vegas called Law AB 363 started in July. There we go. It got serious. Meanwhile, because I own timeshares, I have no worry. Don't have to sign a damn thing. That's what's beautiful about it, because they're already hotels. I love it. All right. So I was going to play the SSN Lifestyle 3-minute video. I went past what I wanted to talk about in the background, but here we go. I'll get to this right here. So my lips are chapping in this chill zone weather, and we'll keep talking about it. Strategies to build wealth as well down below in the description. Don't forget to get your free stocks from Robinhood and Webull if you haven't already. They have a holiday special. Anybody that has downloaded Webull, share your referral link and get yourself 10, 15 stocks or fractional shares of stocks if somebody actually signs up. So there's two ways to get free shares of stock once you sign up with Webull. How cool is that? All right, let's go with this 3 minutes. Get yourselves a pen, pad, paper, water, whatever you need.
Come on, come on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Please share the videos. And I want to thank you so much for being here on this holiday. Happy holiday time, the day after Christmas, getting some of this knowledge so you understand what you're working with. Now, as far as creative financing goes, there's not much creative financing to be had out here that you would consider safe. What I want you guys to understand, we can do anything we want when it comes to a contract with real estate. That's what makes real estate fascinating. So up pops on my screen is lease options by a guy that's been doing real estate for longer than me, 30, 40, 50 years or something. He's promoting lease options right now, which I can't blame him, because in an economy like this is the time that it's very, very popular. When you can give somebody 5,000 or 10,000 or less, and sit there and say, hey, I'll pay all the stuff. I actually want to buy the property, but you're selling right now. You can't sell it. So therefore, I'll give you an extra $50,000 if you let me buy this 2 years from now. That's a risk that you're taking as the lease option holder because none of your money is refundable. But if you can get a longer term, then take a longer term. You'll lock in a price, and that's what you're going to pay the whole time. You don't have to worry about your rent going up or anything like that. So that sometimes is an option. And there's going to be sellers that are going to be looking for that, but it still works the same way. I've done a few, and it's been very interesting. Make sure you have a contract. All right. Because now you're taking over making their payments, whether it's to them or well, generally it's to them, but it could be to the mortgage. But either way, you now are locked in. You locked in a price, and you're looking for that growth 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 2 years from now, whatever you deem that you can deal with. And then you buy it later, but you control it as well. Because you can now, let's just say the property went up 100,000, but you actually didn't want to buy it. Now you can say, hey, you can actually turn around and sell it because you control it under your lease option term and say, hey, I'm going to sell it to somebody else for this price. They get their price and you get the difference. So you have options. So that's a creative financing way that'll go on forever. That'll always be part of the opportunity for a buyer. But from a seller perspective, do not do subject twos. Do not allow somebody. People have been calling me up, okay, for a house, and they're sitting there giving me these deals, right? They're going, okay, I want to buy your house for X amount of dollars. And then they turn around and have this other stuff that's sounding weird. Like, oh, I want to have an inspection for like 30 days. And during the time of inspection, I want to have a key to the house. And I'm just like, under no freaking circumstance, you can ask, but there is no way you're getting keys in no inspection period of 30 days. That ain't going to happen. That is not even a thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? But I already know what he is doing because I'm in real estate. Basically, he's looking for somebody that would give him access to the property so then he could buy it at a lower rate and then turn around and sell it to someone else, whether it's a wholesale deal or to somebody else. He doesn't mind making the 10,000, 15, 20,000 as a wholesale deal. And then, or best case scenario, maybe up it to 30 or 40,000 and sell it. But that's why he would want the key to try to sell it while he's doing this so-called inspection. I was like, who would do this? But he asked. Some people will allow it. I would never advise allowing that. You don't give somebody a key to your place and allow them to market it and do all kind of crazy stuff like that. If you own it, you can do whatever you want. But if I own it, I'm not going to give you no key. That's crazy. So all I'm saying, those are the things that happen. And there was something that I left out up here. There's something I left out. Title, escrow. Here it is right here. Curtis Davis, Mr. Financial, Mr. Chili Davis here on the YouTube streets. Go check out his channel. This is what I wanted to talk about. In college, the professors teach perfect business cases, but in reality, there's going to be gotcha or peculiar stuff happens in oddities. All right, this is why oftentimes you can't duplicate something. So when I come out here, I can tell everybody, right? Hey, this is how you do timeshare stuff. This is how you do it with Airbnb. I can tell you, hey, this is how you do a lease option, but everything's not the same. The same thing with businesses. When somebody's selling you a course, the way they did it is based on how they did it. The obstacles that came up, sure, there's a list of obstacles from every person that you interact with, But there's also some obstacles that never come up. It's one-offs. And how you dealt with those is not going to be known or can be written about because it happened, and that little nuance that occurred, you can't duplicate nuances. And just like you can't duplicate success for every business that you have, it works differently. And the same thing happens. And I agree with this. This is what I used to argue with my professors about now. And you guys know the story. We may have some new people here, but I went to I went to a couple schools, but the school I graduated from was Sonoma State University in the wine country, ladies and gentlemen. One of the awesome small schools in Northern California. I might as well give them pub. 45 minutes to an hour away from San Francisco. Seeing that I'm a sports guy, I have to admit, it's in Marin County, the home of trust fund babies. It's crazy what happens when people have money to waste. Wine country, so you can go to Napa in 30 minutes, be to San Francisco in less than an hour, be over in Marin in less than 25 minutes, be down to Sausalito in 35 minutes. It was like a student's dream. Student's dream as far as I'm concerned. But with that dream comes nightmares. So when you have your professors telling you about business and you're sitting there telling your professors like, hey man, that's not how businesses operate. And of course, you're only like 22, 21, 20 years old, whatever. So let's see, you have to go for a sophomore, you're 20, 21, you're a junior, 22. So somewhere like 21, 22, when you're in your upper class area and you're with your business professors and you're majoring in business and you're looking at them giving you these books, telling you how these businesses are run, and you're arguing with them. And unfortunately, I played basketball, so my arguments fell on deaf ears because they're like, oh, what does he know? You just play basketball, pretty much shut up and dribble type of stuff. And I'm sitting there like, guys, that's not how it works. And they're like, what, why are you talking like? They didn't say that, but it was kind of like that. You know, why is this guy plays basketball? He's up here acting like he knows something about business. Come on, stop playing with me here. So again, ladies and gentlemen, let's just call it forefront. Again, you guys know the shopping channels. Some of you already know the story, so I'll give a story. You guys know the shopping channels that you see now. That's mainstream media. Imagine no shopping channels out, and a guy has a bingo show. And on his bingo show, he was very smart. When he's doing his bingo, pulling the thing, the balls are up, and it was on TV in the Santa Rosa area. Then he would sell products and have them just like on the shopping channel underneath the screen and showing where people can call in and buy credit card. It was sweet. So what my teachers didn't know was I was actually buying products from Hong Kong, Taiwan, China, all over the place. And I was turning around selling them in the magazines. There used to be these nickel magazines, Magic Ads, nickel magazines, penny savers, things like this. It was so cheap to advertise, 20 to 40 bucks, something like that. I'm selling products that for 50, 60, $75. So all I had to do was sell one. The profit from that paid for the advertisement. And so that's how he found me. So you can imagine a 20-year-old kid has his own company, LLC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, LLC. And I was selling products in this nickel magazine, penny saver for all intents and purposes, Magic Ads, whatever you want to call them. Next thing you know, I get a phone call. Back then, no cell phones. Phone call. Hey, this is so-and-so from the show in Santa Rosa. We go out to all of, like, I don't know, he started whatever the numbers were, hundreds of thousands of people. And we have this show, and check out this show. So, of course, I cut on the TV. that night, I check out the show and I'll be like, I'll be damned, he wasn't lying. So then I call him up. I say, hey, man, let's go. We got to have a meeting. He's like, yeah, I want to talk with you because you got several different products. Because I did. I had 5 or 6 different products, and they all were perfect for TV, all for what people are looking for. So I made a special deal. I love how I have a great story in my opinion, but I will shorten it up for everybody here. Um, I had a girlfriend, and you guys will get a kick out of this. So let's just say she was very beautiful. And so, being that I'm only like 20 or 21, I was thinking, how can I get an edge? Because I was like, I didn't know what to really expect, what he would want. So, what I did was I brought the beautiful woman with me. I know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but at 2021, my brain's thinking 2021. I'm thinking beautiful women, distraction. Maybe I'll get even a better deal because he won't be paying attention to the deal. So that's how I was thinking. And I get down there, she's there, I'm there, sitting down, and we sit down and talk. And I made the best deal of the lifetime. And I have to attribute it to a distraction because the deal that he made with me, I don't even understand how he did it. But I said it and he accepted it. He said, Eric, something like, hey, Eric, whatever we sell, we'll split it 50-50, something along those lines. And so then I said, I don't think so. I said, I'm the one that has to order it. I'm the one that has to deal with customs. I'm the one that has to deal with all this stuff. All you're doing is just putting up a picture on TV and a person's calling in. I said, that doesn't dictate to me 50-50. I said, I understand it's distribution for you, but I actually don't need you. I'm selling stuff already. I said, I'll probably sell a lot more with you, but there's no reason for me to do 50-50. So then I tell him, okay, this is what I can live with. And so I'm thinking like, I'm just going to go for it. So I tell him, for every dozen we sell or you sell, I'm going to get 10, 100% of 10, and you keep 2. So he's like, well, okay. So that's my deal with this guy. And that's how I get on a shopping channel network. For every dozen sold, I get everything 100% of. If it's sold for $30, 10 of them is $300. I get the 300. If 2 more sold, he gets the 60. There we go. That's the deal, right? So I'm all happy. He says, deal. I'm like, right on. So now I'm sitting there and I tell my girlfriend, this is the funniest thing ever. I tell my girlfriend, right on. So I'm thinking we have commercials to shoot because the guy says, hey, we got to shoot some commercials. So bring down some of the product. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, then my girlfriend can be in the commercial. My girlfriend pipes up and she says, I can't be in the commercial. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Like, seriously? She proceeds to tell me something she never said. And she's a supermodel with Eileen, with the Ford agency in San Francisco. But she never told anybody. She kept it quiet. So therefore, she had to tell me that day because she says, I can't be in the commercial. I'm actually a model. I'm signed with so-and-so. And I was like, wait, I know that name. That's top dog stuff in San Francisco and New York. I was like, holy smokes. So that's wild, right? But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, so now when I'm in my classes and my teacher's giving me this nonsense, I was just like, I actually do business all over and none of it looks like this book. None of it. And I don't have to wait either. I don't have to get my diploma, go to school. No barriers to entry, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I have that mantra. You just have to figure out how to do it. There's no barriers to entry to anything. They just put up imaginary barriers. So they say you need to go to school, get a good job. I was like, I already have a job. I make more than my peers when I got out of here. I'll make more than they are for the job that they're going to get. and I'll be running the show anyhow. But I just want to get the piece of paper. So then somebody goes, oh, he has a bachelor's degree in whatever. That's the only reason I did it. I didn't have to. I was already rolling. So that's the difference. The teachers are sitting there clowning like you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. Meanwhile, I'm making deals all over the planet. And again, you guys know the other part of the story. My roommates answer my phone. I have roommates, 3 of them. We have, 3 roommates. So we have a phone in our living room. The CEO of like a camera company, Yashica at the time, calls my apartment and they answer. And he called because China's hours are different. It was like 8 in the morning or something. I can't remember. And I was already gone. So they didn't tell me till later on that night. When I get back, they're just like, hey, man, I think this is a pranky, but some guy calling himself the CEO of Yashica Camera, he called. And he said he wanted to talk with you about an order because he said he's going to give you a better deal or something. I was like, what? Why don't you guys tell me this earlier? You should have told me on campus. I'm like, what the hell? So that type of stuff is going on. Taiwan manufacturers and all these guys are calling a 20-year-old kid, 21-year-old kid. I'm dealing with these guys making deals. I'm actually setting deals with every dozen I buy. I want this price. I know what you have in your book. I know what the pricing is, but I've been doing business with you for 3 months, 6 months. I should get better pricing deals because I keep ordering. So they agreed. They were just like, okay, now it's not. I remember one product was like it was $108 shipped for a dozen. And then I said, hey, I got to get like a little lower price on this. Next thing I know, it was like 84 shipped. So whatever, $7. So I was just like, beautiful. We can still do business. So I was making deals with CEOs and executives of companies since I was 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old. So my professor sitting there telling me stuff, I'm just like, this is not how we do it. I'm telling you. And they're like, you just play basketball. You don't know nothing. All right, let's go. Let's see. Major banks consider condo hotels non-warrantable structures. So that's why they don't do loans for these. However, there are other financial institutions that offer them, but they have special rules. Really? I didn't know that. But again, I found no reason to do any of this type of stuff. I do like condo hotels, though. I think that potentially could have some impacts, but this news right here is not good news. The residents at Sunset Walk inside Margaritaville are also condo hotels, but you have to sign a 5-year contract with the management company, plus the split is 55% for them and 45% for you. Wow. They're nice, though. You're damn right they're going to be nice, Margaritaville. Well, thank you, Victor Morel, for sharing this because I never ran into anybody that actually rented out their condo hotels. Everybody just bought the condo and then they pretty much lived there. So I never knew that they had this crazy 55-45 split. I mean, geez, how are you supposed to make money with that kind of split? I would never, ever do that split. So there you go, melanated. There you go. That's something to ask straight out the box. You don't want a 55% deal. You don't want to, if you go over 35%, you just might as well, don't even do it. Don't do it. Because unless your property is making a hell of a lot of money, that split is ridiculous. Because you're going to be upset if you're able to get $10,000 a month and then they tell you, oh, here's your $4,000. You're going to be like, wait, and you got $5,500? That wouldn't be cool. All I'm saying. Or $4,500. That's not cool. Victor, the 5-year deal seems a good mutual benefit. Thank you for explaining. Yeah, 5 years it works. Look, We know Margaritaville. For some, it all depends on how much they bought it for. If they were early in, like Victor Marrero was, and that condo was only, what would they have been? 200,000 with furniture, and now they're generating $8,000 a month. That's a no-brainer. That works. So it all depends. And now, if they sell for 5 or 6 or 700,000, is it worth it? That's the question. But it is what it is. There's a niche for set-aside government contracts. It takes skill to begin learning, understand how to bid contracts. YouTube course makes it easy, but not. No, exactly. It's not easy. It's not easy. Curtis Davis, I'm interested in that as well. So many scams. Yes. Vanessa Comagate, they all want to sell their book, all sell the course. They don't want to let you, they just don't want to give it up. And then when you look for it, it's hard to find. I agree with that 100%. Wow, amazing. Exactly. Eric, experience in business trumps college coursework. Exactly. 100%. 100% of the time. Exactly. No, I don't think that's greedy. No way. He's like, I don't think that's greedy. All right. That's greedy. I would never take that. Exactly. Way too greedy for that. So, you guys, it's a business is fickle. So whenever you want to do creative financing in real estate, you can do creative financing anytime you want in real estate. You don't have to go with, I got to go down here and get a loan. That's just the simple barrier. That's just so you say, okay, generally everybody goes and gets a loan, they qualify, they go down and get everything in order. But that doesn't mean you have to go by that rule. You don't need a license. You don't need a real estate license or anything. You can do the creative financing that I suggest you do not do. You can go to anybody selling any property and offer them a deal, no matter how ridiculous it is. You could come up to somebody and say, hey, your house has lost value in the last year of $50,000. You're still trying to sell it for the same price you were 6 months ago. You're not going to be able to sell it. This is how the subject to start. But all I'm saying is you can say, hey, why don't I just take over I'll give you $5,000. I'll take over your payments for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, I'll just give you $60,000 more. And the guy might say yes, depending on his situation. There's no one way to buy real estate. And just what I simply said there, you would be surprised that during a bad economy, somebody might say yes on just simple stuff. They might have questions like, okay, well, how are you going to pay me, or how am I going to get paid and make sure I get paid? You're going to have to figure out how you're going to do all that, because you're not going to have to qualify. So he's taking a risk. But all I'm saying is everything goes whenever there's a bad economy. You can simply tell somebody, put out a sign on a corner that you guys have seen or will see shortly. If you haven't seen them already, you'll see signs on the corners with the ones you've seen before. We'll buy a house for cash, right? You've seen that before. And you're going to see new signs out and about that's going to say, can't qualify for a home, easy down payment, make payments. That easy down payment is now a person that you qualified that calls you up and says, hey, do you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot house? And you so happen to have made a deal or know somebody that you can take over payments for. You tell that person, oh, well, the rent, or do you want to rent to own? Because rent to own is a thing. Or are you just going to rent? Either way, you have leverage. You get to tell the person, well, you're going to have to give me 3 times, 4 times the amount of your rent. That 3 or 4 times the amount of the rent could actually be part of the down payment that you told that guy that you were going to give him. And you came out of pocket with no money. How about that? I've done that type of deal before. You can do all kind of stuff as long as you write it up. That's creative financing. You can talk to this guy and say, this is what I'll do. I'll give you $5,000. And again, this isn't a bad economy. I'll give you $5,000 because you can't sell your house. And then I turn around and get somebody and I tell them, I'm going to rent the house out. Just so you know, I don't want to have any problems. If you come over here and you see somebody you don't know, I'll let you know who they are, but I'm going to be responsible. That's what our contract says, of any damages, anything that happens. So here's your 5,000, or it could be 10. I can't remember the amounts that I gave, but it was under 10 grand. Then I turned around and told somebody, hey, do you want to do a rent to own? The person says yes. I say, okay, you got to give me like 10K. And here's the rent. The rent was more than the mortgage or what I had to pay the guy. So I have that up front. I take some of that, gave it to that guy, and now I have an extra $400, $500, $600 a month in my pocket, and it cost me $0. Yeah, I know, ladies and gentlemen, it's hard to believe, but you have to talk. Basically, you have people that sell in different ways. You have people that will sell on, if you like, we used to have penny savers out, right? So people would be in the penny saver, magic ad, nickel ad, saying they're selling their house. People will be selling their house on Craigslist. People will be selling their house on for sale by owner. All kind of ways where people will just be selling. And then if it sits there for so long, now you can make these creative deals and they will agree to them, and you'll be in shock that some people would agree to these because they're agreeing because they have another situation going on. Some people have already bought a second home. They have already moved into the second home, and now their fear is mortgage is coming up on the second home, and they still don't have anybody that bought this other house nor renting the other house. So you end up being a lifesaver. I'm not saying you're going to find this, but you have to be actively looking for real estate in order to get creative financing deals done. All of this can be done without loan, without you getting approval for loan, without credit checks, without anything. It's just moving money from one to another, and you control it under a contract. That's creative financing. So when people say, do subject to, do these assignments, do all this stuff, yes, all of it can be done. But what you want to do is, whether you're the seller or the buyer, you want to protect yourself, so you make sure the flow is proper. If something happens and you can't meet the obligation, what is the result of that? So if you do creative financing, anything goes. All right? You don't have to go by anybody's manual. There isn't one. Whatever you want to do, you give them the offer, and they're the ones that can say no. All right? So this is a little bit of subject matter that I haven't talked about too often because, like you guys know, I've been perfectly upfront. I haven't done real estate where I was actually out there doing real estate deals for a long time. All right? Because I've been loving life from Airbnb situation. I'm just like, I don't need to, right? I don't need to do anything. That's the way I always looked at it. But now opportunity is going to present itself. And because it is easy and second nature to me, I may look at a few things. Unlikely, but you never know. But I'm at least giving you guys the idea that there is no playbook when it comes to real estate and creative financing. It's up to you to find the guy. Now, there's been other deals. I'll give you other deals. A guy's 82 years old, something like this. He owns RV park. The RV park makes like $200,000 a month. The guy is old. He's a little sick. He doesn't even have any heirs. He says, didn't even have to make any offers. He says, I will take $200,000 down. I want $2.5 million. I'm not going to live that long, but I'll write up something where you give me 2.5 million in about 3 years. But out of that 200,000 that you give me, I'm going to allow you to run the place. And that's how you're going to pay me the 2.5 million. I was like, how do you counter that opportunity? It's like it's almost like he's giving you the place. But he's old. He didn't have any persons that he could give it to or felt that was going to run it right. And he was like literally giving it away. All he wanted was 200,000. And then he said, you can run the place and give me the money from the profit. It makes money. It literally makes money. I couldn't believe what he's saying. Sign. Let's go. But again, if you weren't in, put yourself in the position, if you're not looking for the rental place, if you're not looking and you're not calling and you're not talking, then you're not going to be able to get in on any creative financing deals. I didn't create the deal. That guy did, because he was tired. He was like, I've been running this place for like 50 years. I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more. It makes money. I just want to give it to somebody that'll actually run it. And I'll just take a little skin up front, and then I'll just let you use the money the profits and pay me back. So literally just gave it away in reality. I mean, except for the 200 G's. But because he was running it for so long, he probably made millions of dollars. So that's why he probably didn't care that much. He was just hoping that nobody's going to sell it, knock it down, do whatever. That was his own thing, and keep it that little park so people could have it. But this is what I'm trying to say. Creative financing in real estate can be done anytime. Anytime. All right. How many days did the seller have to wait when you made the deal? Or did you come out of pocket with your own funds and collect it from the rent by the foot? No. So what I did was, this is the beauty of contracts. Whenever you do something, you always say, oh, it'll be starting in 30 or 60 days. So in my case, 60 days. Because you're going to do inspections still, right? You're still going to check the place out, because in essence, you're buying it. So you're still going to have your inspection stuff. You're still going to do your due diligence. You're still going to make sure, hey, everything is great. No surprises. So you're going to make, back in the day, 60 and 90 days to close was the norm. It's so you didn't have to do, you wouldn't do a 30-day. So you'd probably do like a 60 or a 90. So in my case, 60 days. So within those 60 days, while I'm doing my stuff, I'm out here looking for rent to own buyer, lease option buyer. And because you're picking property that is not down in the bad area of town, you're picking properties that are not in the upper echelon either, that cost an arm and a leg. You're getting in a nice neighborhood where it's just normal citizens, and that's what you're going to get. So the people come are ordinary people that can afford it. So you're just changing it up. You're just saying, add on that $500 a month. It's rent to own. They know what they're doing, or a lease option. They know what they're doing. They're going to have to pay for it's a premium to be able to pay later or buy later. So I didn't have to worry. So in 60 days, it was easy. You'll find somebody that says, yeah, I want to own this house. You'll find a buyer. That's not the problem. It's just the problem is, does the person have the necessary funds? Do you have my $10,000? So that's how I did it. I didn't need any money. Zero monies. Done deals. Yeah, it's kind of wild. And all I did was get my like $400 or $500 extra every month. So about $5,000 per year. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. That's why I love exponentials. That's why you always do exponentials. If you can do it once, you can do it twice, you can do it 3 times, and you can just keep going as many times as you want. There's no set rule. Creative finance means you understand the risk of the contract working or not, using a contract to control the cash flow. Exactly. A contract is major when it comes to real estate. And what you want to do is, well, here's, I should say this, there's predators. And when somebody does subject to me, that's predators. But as far as if I do a deal with somebody, I want to make them comfortable. I want to make sure if he's the seller in the case, I want to make sure that he understands exactly what I'm talking about. So there's no gray areas. In fact, it'll be in the contract too. There's no gray areas. It's not like there is no normal contract as far as I'm concerned. There's some sort of normal wording, indemnity clauses and things like that. But you can write up whatever you want, just like Mr. Financial is saying. So you make sure whenever you do your contract under creative financing, it has to be spelled out. You just can't say just generically. You have to make sure that he understands that this is what you're doing. This is why you're doing it. This is when you're going to pay him. This is how you're going to pay him. And this is what's going to happen if there's repairs needed. So therefore, he's clear. And it's now your responsibility. That's the idea, right? And then my idea was I uphold with the next party, rent to own lease option, they have the same rule. Whatever my rule is their rule. So water, sewer, garbage, y'all got to pay it. All the electricity, y'all got to pay it. Any repairs needed, y'all got to pay it. Because you're basically the owners of the property. So therefore, that eliminated me having to deal with maintenance issues. That eliminated the owner from dealing with maintenance issues. Now, the only downfall to it is if this person messes up and for whatever reason can't make payments, there's some maintenance issues, they also would have had to put down their first $10,000. That's in my contract. But sometimes, depending on what it looked like on paper and what their job descriptions were and things like that, sometimes I would say, hey, I need a slush fund. And what I mean by a slush fund is, yes, you're paying $2,400 per month. But I would say, well, you're giving me an extra $200 per month just in case there's maintenance issue. I did all kind of stuff. Some people loves a house so good, they say, okay, I'll do that. So then I had a built-in situations. I did all kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen, with real estate. There is no rules. And since I wasn't a real estate agent, there's no rules. A real estate agent has to do certain rules. But when you're just a free agent, you don't have any rules. You can do whatever you want. So I had people slush funds, which I didn't say slush fund, but all I'm saying is I call it slush fund because now I have that $2,400 per year sacked away from them. And on the back side of it, if it's not going to be used, then you'll get it back. So now they have a double incentive to make sure that the property stays kept up very, very well. See how you lock things in. So then that way you limit your exposure. Sure, they could stop paying, they could lose their jobs, whatever. But I have my money. We have stuff things in security. So I don't have to worry about that. And if they fail, I'll just wash, rinse, and repeat, find somebody else. But we only have like a 2-year window, 24 months. So the odds of failure was slim. And as it turns out, it always worked out. I can't even remember if anybody ever lost their job or had a problem. But then you're always at risk too, like I say, for that 2-year window or 3-year, whatever. But all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, creative financing, you can do it. This is the strategies on building wealth. All right. And you'll have a lot of fun doing it. Yes, I would have ran with that deal. Exactly. Melanated had to. Yes, I figured that. The RV park worth 2.5, sold 200,000. No, it wasn't that. He had to give him 200,000, and then out of the profits, I paid the 2.5. That's literally how it worked. So it was almost for free, literally. Because here's, want to know what's even sicker about this? What's even sicker is the appraised value was like 3.5. That's what's even sicker about this. He didn't care. He was just like, I'm tired, I'm sick, I'm whatever. He just wanted out. He just was like, I made enough money, literally. So you can imagine he was making 2.5. Out of that, I think we were it was better than 50%. So he was doing like 110. So he's over $1 million a year. So, and I don't know how long it was over $1 million a year. I didn't go back 30-year paperwork, but I mean, he could have been making $1 million a year for 30 years. So he wasn't hurting for cash. So, he was just running out of time as far as health and age. So it's got to be in the right place at the right time. At the right place. Yes, Seamless Genius knows exactly at the right place at the right time. Exactly. That's how it works. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 2 hours, 10 minutes in. Smash that like button. Now, strategies to build wealth. Real estate, it actually does help you build wealth. All right. That's one way. It's not, again, people have to understand what wealth is. Wealth means different things to different people. Wealth to me means you are making money while you sleep. That is wealth to me. Other people will say, I need $3 million in the bank, or I need certain things. To me, if you can wake up every day whenever you want to and do whatever you want to in reality, you have created wealth. Now, the metrics on wealth is different things. Some people will say, okay, I have 5 businesses, a home that's paid off, cars paid off, whatever, and I make X amount of money. That's wealth as well. It all depends on the way your outlook on life is. All right. There's no replacement for health and time. All right. So that's the two things right there. And no matter what you do, whether you're a billionaire, millionaire, whatever, or just 100,000 heirs, whatever, you don't get to sit around. You have to constantly tend to your businesses, tend to your flow of cash coming in. You can't just go sit on a bench and be like, okay, we're good. That's not how it works. Because each layer that you trust somebody, you're going to have somebody. This is why Elon Musk has a problem. Because every time, if he ever lets somebody else run the company, he leaves. He's not in the mix and getting information in real time because he's not the CEO, right? So that's why he rarely steps down and goes bye-bye to any of his entities, because he realizes as soon as you remove it yourself, you're relying on somebody else to control your baby, and that person may not control it like you, may do better, may do worse. But it's hard thinking it may do worse. So now you let that go. Now you go second remove, where they hire somebody as their assistant who you don't know. And the next thing you know, you're like removed from any decision making, and you're sitting there going, why did they make that move? Why did they make that move? So it's very hard when a person has controlled things for a long time to step back and let other people control it. So I can't blame anybody on that. That was a heck of a deal. Exactly. Facts. We are here for a brief time, balanced life. Exactly. So you paid the guy $20K per month for 10 years, or $100 a month, or until paid. Exactly. Actually, it was even a little less than that. But yeah, that's it. That's literally it. Is that funny or what? And the property was worth more than what he wanted. It was crazy. And I shouldn't even say anything, because this is when you guys realize, here's the other thing. It needed some rehab. Yes, he didn't keep it up because, again, he's tired. He was like the last like 10 years, tired. He just would do patchwork. The appraisal guys come out. They go, hey, man, it's worth like 3.5 right now. How much is it if we do rehab? 4.5. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So this is the type of deals we do, and you can do it, ladies and gentlemen. Any deal is creative. So when somebody tries to lock you in to do a certain deal that puts you at risk, you don't want to put yourself at risk. There is no reason to put yourself at risk. You want to control properties, you set it up where you control the property with the blessings of the person. If you want to take over payments, that's your business. I like that model because if I can control it, control the property, and he allows me to take over payments, then any maneuvering I do after he allows it and knows what I'm doing, then we all win. He's comfortable, I'm comfortable, the new people are comfortable, everybody's winning until the day somebody's not, right? The guy lost his job. Now I got to deal with, hey, I got to give this guy his money, but I have reserves. So we're good. And now we just find somebody else to replace them. And generally in economy, rent to own, lease options, you can do those in a bad economy or a good economy. Even easier if you're holding property and if somebody's in a property for 2 years in a bad economy, and then all of a sudden the property value goes up, you get to win even more if that person doesn't exercise their right to buy the property or their option. Now all of a sudden, not only do you have a house that's valued at a higher price, now you can charge people more money for whether they pay their monthly and for the property itself. So you win twice. Now you have a higher cash flow rate coming in every month. And when this thing sells, your equity value increased. Win-win. So that's one way you can do it. Creative financing, but that morphs into several other options, right? You just don't always have to do it that way, but that's how it always starts out. You have to control the property. After that, sky's the limit. So if you want to do a subject to, it's fine. It works along the same lines, but again, it's just risky for everybody. So I went out to the beginning of this video. I gave you the risk factors of why you really, as a seller, don't want to enter into these agreements. But as a buyer, if a seller will allow this agreement, then hell yes, you would take it. So it works both ways. All right, we're going to wrap this up. 2 hours, 17 minutes in. Please join me on Wednesday night live stream. But if you're going to join me on Wednesday night live stream, just remember it's at 8:50 p.m. But you can't be in the chat room on Wednesday night unless you have an icon next to your name, because only members of the channel can be on Wednesday night live streams in the chat room. Everybody can watch, but only members with the icon can be in the chat room. So, and then on Friday, 9:10 p.m., everybody, just like tonight, can be in the chat room and ask questions and come in here and discuss anything. In the deal, you're looking to pay as close to $2 billion, and they do the math to make the deal worth $3 million. You know the numbers of dollars to improve. Exactly. So that's what you do with real estate. You can play with in fact, I probably am going to get back into real estate because all kind of havoc's going to happen over the next 12 months. So I might as well. I mean, it's simple. It's not that hard. But the only thing that bothers me is these clowns that call up and they're trying to do these stupid deals. That's not good, because when you follow through and the seller hears like 5 people giving them these ridiculous offers, give me the key, we'll make it a 60-day close inspection period, and all this other crazy. Now you might fall into the crazy category when you hear, well, I want to take over payments, or I want to do something creative. It causes a situation for everybody. But again, If you look long enough and deal with several opportunities, you're always going to find one or two people that will agree with you. They'll say, fine, because I'm tired of messing around. If you can tell me I'm going to have money in my hand in 30 days or less, or 45 days or less, I'll do it. And you're not saying you need the key. You're not saying any of this. You're saying you're going to give me some money now. As long as you can come up with the parameter that meets their criteria, they'll be like, okay, I can do that deal. Like now, there's a deal where the guys keep calling. The house is free and clear. It's just that they want the keys so they can do crazy stuff. I'm just like, that's not going to work. Can real estate be like stock option? Yes. Yes. Yes, Mr. Financial. Just think of it as a stock option. That's what real estate could be. You can do the exact same thing. Same thing. And that's where you charge the people. You got to pay a fee with length of time. Same similar type scenario, right? Except and there's going to be a length of time and expiration. You're going to have to, get up off the pot and do something at 2 years or 3 years or 4 or 5, whatever the case may be. You can write them up however you want to do it. All right, strategies to build wealth here, ladies and gentlemen. Money Making Mondays, this is what we do. And so you can build wealth with real estate now. When it's red in the streets, blood in the streets, this is when you're supposed to buy. Not now, next year. Buy a home in 2023. All right? Don't worry, I'll be reminding you all year long as we sit here and go through Zillow, right? And I don't even really like going through Zillow, but we're going to go through Zillow for a second. In fact, why don't I put this on the screen? Zillow.com. In fact, you know where I'm going to go? Since Lauren Penix, Mr. Cool, Mrs. Cool is in Las Vegas, Marinated is in Vegas. Why don't we go to Vegas? Why don't we go look at? I keep forgetting they separated it, right? They did Summerlin, North Las Vegas, all this stuff now. Go to Vegas and do this. But speaking of creative financing, why don't we go to Vegas? Well, I'm going to go look. Remember, you guys lock in any of your plays. All right. So let's go with 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. Price wise, okay. What's a good square foot? I don't really know. So, like larger self. The gremlins came back. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't realize I got disconnected. So it's equity option. You have the right to buy, but not an obligation. Exactly. That's exactly it. You always have an out clause, but that out clause could be costly if you're actually paying for it. You don't care about the out clause if you're the middleman and they can't afford it, because ultimately you can find yourself with, oh, this house went up $200,000. I can actually buy it. So you win-win. There's all kind of things that happen with real estate. That's why it's a beautiful thing. And that's why people get hooked on it. Like there's a lot of people talking real estate right now. But again, they keep popping up because I probably clicked on a couple of places and then all of a sudden I get inundated with it on YouTube. And some people are talking reckless. Other people are talking spot on, in my opinion. So let's get to this here. All right. Yeah. Sorry about that off screen. Here we go. I'm going to Vegas. We're going to 3,000 square foot homes and up pops $780,000. Crazy. Hey, but that's a nice looking home. I like homes that look like this personally. So look at this. $780,000, and the guy put it on 4 hours ago. There's 875 agent listings in Las Vegas, not Henderson, not Summerlin, just Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. So there's over 1,000 homes for sale in Las Vegas right now. What's scarier is I put in a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, I think it was 3,000 square feet homes. 3,000 square feet, that's a nice size home, in my opinion. I mean, that's nice. That's not even the norm. The norm is a smaller size house than that. I believe it's around 2,000, 2,200 square feet is a normal house most people own. 780, 4 hours. This must be in a nice neighborhood. Looks like it. It's inside, on the left. Must be in that. Here goes another one, 640,000. And it's, can't tell the neighborhood. It's not blowing up blue or whatever. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's in that newer section as well. Well, 10 years ago or whatever, newer. $1 million. 4,000 square feet. What the hell? Okay, so what we're looking for is this. Reason why I went here is look, a lot of homes are being put on the market here. These are 3 days. This is crazy. 8 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 3 days ago. Jeez, this is getting insane. 3 days ago, 4 days ago. And these homes are expensive, in my opinion. This is insane. 879. These are still too high. 4 days on Zillow, $4,300, $1 million. This is crazy. Look at this. 4 days. Are you watching this, ladies and gentlemen? These people are trying to get rid of their $1 million homes, 800,000, 900,000. This is crazy. 1.6, 544 with the funky configuration as a model. So they've put model homes in with homes. 4 days. Look at this. There's people dumping. They're trying to get, oh man, this is the start right here. This is the start, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not the time to be selling a home during Christmas and holidays. So they're not going to be, most of these will not be moving anytime soon. 6 days on Zillow. This is crazy. All right. Now, that's not really what I wanted to talk about here. Let's just go look at high to low. Oh, I should put a cap on this. Jesus, I should put a cap. We're not really interested in this 8 million, 5 million, 7 millions. That's not going to be ordinary citizens. All right. This isn't going to work. Let's get down here. Here's what the reason why I'm doing this is what I'm looking for is, well, it just showed up. Price cut of 100,000 November 28th. 3.3 million, 100,000 isn't even but 3%. That's nothing. Price cut 50,000, that's nothing. Although one badass house. Yeah, on the surface. 100,000. They're still in denial in Las Vegas. They're only, Oh, here we go. Somebody's not in denial. 700,000 October 29th and still hasn't sold it. But this is in the stratosphere. That's 20%. That's more than 20%. But it was probably overpriced to begin with. So price cut 100, really? See, this is what happens when people think their homes are worth more than they are. They're finding out now they're still going to sit here for a while. 200,000 October, 100. Nobody's cutting their prices in this price point of $200,000 or $300,000. They're doing these little piddly price reductions. So I'm looking for price reductions, but 2 million and all that's probably too much. I'm trying to get in ordinary citizen territories, but it's not coming fast enough. They have way too. This is crazy. Wait, what's this? $50,000? Come on. Why even bother when your house is $2 million? That's ridiculous. $30,000 for a 1.89. No wonder it's not sold. Jesus, what are they thinking over there? See, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly the reason why creative financing is going to come in handy later on, but it's high risk, high maneuvers. So if you believe Vegas, after the prices go down, that they're going to recover in like 2 years or about the same, where, again, the prices, I don't even know where to begin with this because this is astonishing, quite frankly. All these $1 million homes all over the place in Las Vegas, and they're not even cutting the prices but $150,000 and expecting to sell them. What type of realtors are in Vegas? All these homes for sale. There's no way your house is going to stand out when you have a $1.6, $2 million home. All the $1.6 or $2 million homes are going to be very nice. You can buy new homes for that. So why would somebody buy your house? That's ridiculous. 100,000 price cuts, December 23rd. This is ridiculous. 1.699 is not going to make a difference. That's not going to move anybody to come over here and buy this. When I have homes over here that are 1.59, 1.6 all day, every day. Newer, better, badder. Doesn't make any sense. They're still in denial. I was expecting some lower, I was expecting hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we don't see it. This is incredible. This just goes to show you, Jesus, 9 days, 121 days. People are trying to bail, but they can't bail. They're not being able to bail out. They're just like, no parachute here. They're going to have to cut their prices by hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's no quick sales. You can see for yourself. 129 days, 17 days, price cut $25,000 for a $1.3 million house. This is ridiculous. October 29th, they cut the price $75,000. Clearly, nobody's going to come buy this. This is crazy. This is crazy. They're all in denial. All right. Kind of disgusting. Now, Laverne Penix, Mr. and Mrs. Cool, and Marinated Aboriginal. You guys are going to have to let me know what's up with the water in Vegas. I always wanted to buy a house in Vegas, but the water situation has me poo-pooed on it. So let me know what you guys think. All right. Yes, I was off screen. Sorry about that little interruption. Home prices coming down. Not too many people can afford those prices, especially with current. This is incredible. Here in Florida is the same thing. Yeah, I'm in shock, Victor Marrero. I went to Vegas on purpose because I figured the home prices went up so high that people are being laid off or whatever, that they would have people reducing their homes 200, 300, 400,000, 20%, but they're not. They're reducing their home prices by less than 1% in some cases. Nobody can afford these homes. This is crazy. These people are greedy. No one will buy at those prices. Exactly. This is the Warren Buffett effect. The house market went up, it inflated values in 2021, now 2022, it's deflating. And as the tide goes out, who will still be standing? Exactly. That's exactly it. I'm in shock by this. I thought for sure I was going to see these $1 million homes, 200,000, 20% discounts, 10% discounts. This is unbelievable. Look at this, $75,000 on a, this is $30,000 on a 1.2. This isn't even moving the needle. Why? 42, and there's more people adding their homes, 39 days. There's going to be, there's people probably every 2 days, every 3 days, there's a home being put on the market in this price, over $1 million price range. 50,000, seriously? December 23rd, this guy says, I'm going to drop my price 50 grand. Okay. I'm curious. Why 50 grand if you're trying to sell it? There's no way. Built in 2006. Let's go look, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just doing some overtime here. If you want to talk about the any other creative financing, I gave you some examples. It can be done. It's all whatever's in your head that you want to make the seller accept. You can do it. Okay, they listed this for sale. Wait, what? Oh, they just listed it. 12.3. What is this? So 100%. It was bought in 20. Come on, 619,000. No, hold on. No, it had to be lower than that, right? 100% means, oh yeah, 600,000. So they must have bought it for 600,000. Wow. So they have profit. They want profit of 600,000. They just dropped the price. That's not 4%. Is it? That's not 4%. I don't think that's 4%. But anyhow, this is funny. 100% in 5 years. Seriously? And they only cut their price 50,000. I'm sure it's a badass house. Looks like it's a badass house. I'm sure 2006 semi-custom, nice. But 50,000. Sorry, nobody's going to buy a $6,000 house. It looks like it's going to be party in Vegas soon because they're going to find themselves in 600,000 territory if they keep up this nonsense. More and more people are going to put their house up here for sale. 59 days, 159 days, 36 days. It's another 50,000. The realtors are doing a disservice. They just don't want to have a run because if somebody said 900,000, 929 or something like that, take off 200,000, that would cause everybody else to run into a domino effect. This is a travesty. Well, good luck to everybody selling their homes in Vegas. This is going to be very interesting. All right, we're going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. Strategies to build wealth down below in the description. Unstoppable domains. That's down there. That's crypto. I also included some passive income opportunities for Miracle Cash and More and IX Global, which does the debt box license. That's down below. There's several items down below in the description box that can help you out with passive income. But remember, we're setting ourselves up to buy a home in 2023. And even if you live there or you don't, the whole object of buying the home is because the Federal Reserve will not be able to hold down and hold back. They will start reducing interest rates, I predict, next year. Whether it's going to be negative, 0.25 or 0.5, they have a long way to go to get back down to 4, 3.5 or 3.25, whatever. But I believe they're going to start it at the end of next year. They're not going to wait till 2024. So therefore, there's going to be this window, but it's going to be a cascade effect, just like what's happening in Austin, Texas. In fact, before I get out of here, let's move to Austin, Texas, that equally went up ridiculously over the last 4 or 5 years. Let's see what they're doing. Oh, Jesus. This is getting ridiculous. They only have 317 homes. Let me see if we can do some pricing. I don't want to go through this crazy pricing. This is ridiculous. $35 million. Seriously? In Austin, Texas? Seriously? All right. This is incredible. Let's see. Let's see if we can get down here to ordinary citizen territory. There's no 18. People are trying to get out too. 18 days, 48 days. People are trying to get out. Open houses everywhere. Let's get down to some ordinary citizen territory, shall we? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. 34 days. $100,000. Here we are. Same thing. 85,000, 30,000. On the market since October. 30,000 price cut in October. This guy does his in December. Same prices. Almost 400 square feet difference. But again, this isn't moving the needle. 59 days, 80,000. Nobody wants to give up. Let's see here. 29,000. Jeez. These little minor cuts after you've almost doubled your price. I can't blame anybody yet. Until people don't buy, they have no reason to do this. They keep doing these little piddly cuts. 80,000. This is ridiculous. I see this as an epidemic. They're just holding out. Oh, this is beautiful. This is going to be worse than I thought. If people keep doing this, nobody's going to buy. And then finally, somebody who's going to have their house foreclosed upon, somebody who lost their job, is going to say, you know what? I think I'll take 400,000 equity instead of waiting for that extra 200,000. Let's just get out of here and get our money. And then the avalanche is going to occur when more than one person does that. But this is insane. So not only is Vegas doing this, even in Texas that went up so fast, so high, is even doing it. They're doing these little piddly things, less than 3%, 2%, 4%. Wow, this is crazy. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't see it. I didn't have it on the screen. That's crazy. That's interesting. I thought I had it on the screen. So you didn't see what I was seeing, unfortunately. But we're going to wrap it up now. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I love you guys. I thank you so much for your support, everybody with the icon next to your name, and everybody else who is a subscriber and who actually watches the videos, who came here on the live stream. I appreciate it, because without you, I wouldn't be over here doing this. So we're still trying to help people out, even though they shadow ban, even though they try to block it, because again, we're operating on different rules. I'm trying to give you something that you can actually use for real. I'm not giving you a book. You can always email me at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. You can always make comments down below and ask questions. Feel free. There's no courses. There's nothing. This is the no guru zone. So we genuinely trying to help you out with your money that you can use to make it work for you. No barriers to entry, no qualifying, no nothing. You can do many different things, whether it's with real estate, whether it's with stocks, whether it's with any business endeavor. It's up to you. You're the CEO of your life. Nobody's coming to save you, as you see here and as you see here. And you can get this gear at stopstrugglingnow.com. New gear coming out. I won't say what it is yet. The new saying coming out. We have something new, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be coming out. So check it out. All right. Thanks. Yes. And also, have a happy holidays and a happy new year. Of course, I'll see you before the new year. And when is the new year, by the way? Are we going to be running a New Year's live show? Let's see here. Oh, it's on a Saturday. So no New Year live special. But on Friday night, make sure I'll be celebrating on Friday night. So we want to celebrate together. Unless I do a live stream on Friday night. Won't be in New York. Won't be somewhere. Well, oh, wait, that's midnight. I don't even know if I'll be awake. I'm just saying, I might not even be awake. So I might have to do a live stream on Saturday at around 8 or 9 where we'll actually have our countdown for Australia or something early and have our drinks all set up. All right, Melanated Aboriginal, thank you so much for your input. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you. And so, again, happy holidays, everybody, and I love you guys, and thank you. I'll see you on Wednesday night, I hope, at 8:50 p.m. I'll be dropping a video tomorrow, so check that out. That'll be interesting. And show some love. Share the videos with other people because YouTube is not. And with all that said, keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.